Before throwing away your drill battery, there's one thing you should try first. Welcome back to Dan Fix. Hi, I'm Dan. Have you ever grabbed an old drill for a quick repair only to find the battery completely dead? That happened to me today while trying to fix this cabinet lock. I pulled the drill out, pressed the trigger, and absolutely nothing happened. At first, I thought maybe the battery was just weak. But after trying again a few more times, it became clear this thing had no power at all. Most people would probably buy a replacement battery immediately. But before throwing it away, let's figure out what's actually happening inside and see if we can bring it back to life. First, I place the battery into its original charger. Normally, when a battery is charging, the indicator light turns red. But this time, nothing happens. No blinking light, no charging signal, completely dead. That already tells us something important. The charger cannot even recognize the battery anymore. Next, I use a multimeter to check the voltage directly. To make contact with the battery terminals more easily, I place two small metal washers into the power slots. Then I touch the probes to each washer and look at the reading. 0 volts. So I grab a small 12-volt LED light and connect it to the battery terminals. Nothing. The LED doesn't even glow faintly. At this point, we know this is not a simple low battery situation. The battery has dropped into a deep discharge state. Now, here's where things get interesting. Instead of using a professional recovery tool, I'm going to use something many people already have at home: an old laptop charger. This charger outputs 19.5 volts at 2.3 amps, which is surprisingly close to the voltage range needed to wake up this drill battery. Of course, before connecting anything, we need to prepare it properly. I cut the end off the charger cable and carefully strip the outer insulation using electrical pliers. Inside, you can see two separate wires, one positive and one negative. This step matters a lot. If you accidentally reverse the polarity, you could damage the battery instead of recovering it. That's why I'm using two different wire colors to make everything easier to identify later. Red for positive, black for negative. Now I twist the exposed copper wires tightly together to prevent loose strands from sticking out. A clean connection helps current flow more smoothly and reduces heat buildup. Next, I slide two pieces of heat shrink tubing over the wires before connecting them. Many people forget this step and realize later there's no way to insulate the connection cleanly. Once the wires are connected securely, I use heat to shrink the tubing tightly around the joints. As the tubing contracts, it creates a protective layer around the exposed copper. This helps prevent short circuits and keeps the wires from pulling apart over time. Now we move to the final part of the recovery tool. I strip the other ends of the wires and connect them to two metal washers. These washers will slide directly into the battery terminals. Then I use pliers to crimp the wire tightly around the washers. This point experiences the most pulling force during use, so the connection needs to be strong. If the wire becomes loose here, the current may cut in and out during recovery. And now the tool is ready, simple but effective. Before connecting it to the battery, let's quickly understand why this battery stopped working in the first place. When lithium batteries sit unused for a long time, the voltage inside the cells slowly drops. If it falls too low, the protection circuit inside the battery shuts everything down to prevent damage. From the outside, the battery looks completely dead. The charger cannot detect it, and no power comes out of the terminals. But in many cases, the cells are still recoverable. They just need enough voltage to wake the protection circuit back up. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Now I plug the laptop charger into the wall outlet. The indicator light turns on immediately, which tells us the charger is working properly. Then, I carefully slide the two metal washers into the battery terminals. Now we wait about 20 minutes. While waiting, this is actually a good time to ask you something. Where are you watching from today? And have you ever repaired a drill battery instead of replacing it? I always enjoy reading different repair ideas and experiences from people around the world. 20 minutes later, let's check the result. First, I reconnect the original charger, and this time something changes immediately. The charger light turns red. That's a really important sign because it means the charger can finally recognize the battery again and has started charging normally. Now let's test the LED light again. As soon as I connect it, the LED lights up brightly. That tells us the battery output is returned. At this point, the battery is awake again, but it still needs a full charge before heavy use. So I leave it on the charger until the indicator changes color completely. After a while, the charging light turns green, meaning the battery is fully charged and ready for testing. Now for the real test. I install the battery back onto the drill and grab a piece of wood. The moment I pull the trigger, the motor spins strongly and smoothly. No hesitation, no weak power. Then I start drilling into the wood. The drill cuts through easily, just like it used to. And honestly, this is the most satisfying part of the whole process. A battery that looked completely useless just came back to life using a simple laptop charger and a few basic materials. So, next time you find an old drill battery sitting in storage, don't assume it's permanently dead. Sometimes the problem isn't damage. Sometimes it just needs a small push to wake it back up. If you found this useful, let me know where you're watching from and share any repair tricks you've learned over the years. I'd love to hear them. Don't forget to like and subscribe because there are still many more useful DIY ideas coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.